Hey, this is Shaun with the Atlanta Tennis Podcast, powered by Go Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com. And if you are friends with Bike Friendly Atlanta, go to bikefriendlyatl.org. Check them out, like and subscribe on social media. Also, we want to hear your story on the podcast. So if you have a story to share, go to letsgotennis.com/my story. And you might have your story featured on the Atlanta Tennis Podcast. Today, this is the ultimate guide to getting your kids started playing tennis. Today, we are discussing something most parents don't necessarily think about or possibly even care about. Certified or uncertified? That is the question. Is your coach, if you're considering the coach, are they certified by a professional organization? So Dave, today, 3 easy questions. What does it mean to be certified? Why does it matter? And how important is it really? So where do you want to start with? Just talk about it. What does it mean? What is a certification?
Sure. I think certified, in our profession is a lot like, I don't know if you can do it in a lot of other professions. I know a lawyer, you can't. You got to go through the bar exam and all that stuff. But to a large degree, that is their certification kind of process. So it, number one, points out that more than likely this person is either seeking to become full-time tennis instructor, either on their own as a self, as a what they call it, subcontractor or independent, or they're trying to get in with a club, and there's nothing wrong with either. But they are kind of taking their education and vocation and learning to I think a higher level of, and also being able to network. And that's all part of every certification is networking too.
So I am a certified coach. That doesn't necessarily, by definition, make me a better coach than an uncertified coach. It does mean I'm likely to have more training. Now, those of us that have gone through some level of certification, we know what it means. We know there's the training initially. We know we are taught by professional coaches how to be a coach rather than figuring it out on our own. Plenty of people figure it out on their own. It's perfectly fine. And now there are different kinds of certifications. We have USPTA. Dave, I think you're also USPTA, as am I.
Yep.
There is PTR, which is another good one. And there are, I think USTA has some certifications. There's an ITF one, which is more for working for higher level players, maybe even high performance or professional players. So there are different certifications you can get for different reasons. I think most club coaches that most people deal with on a daily basis, when you think about the local tennis coach, they're either USPTA or PTR. They are actually also taught, we are taught how to work at a club, how to manage other coaches. And then those coaches help each other. And that was one of the things I really liked about the industry is we weren't a bunch of people fighting ourselves within the club industry. The independents are often zero-sum game types. But within the club industry, the director trains the head pro for their new job, for the director job. The head pro trains the assistant pro. So there's a friendship, a camaraderie, but you're taking it seriously. It means it's your job and this is your career, not to mention the insurance, which we'll talk about next week, that comes with it, and the continuing education. Now, why does it matter to the parent? Why does it matter to our audience, whether it's a kid getting a lesson, especially in my opinion, or an adult looking for a coach?
I think it matters because, if I think, and it's hard to answer that when you're talking about the kids that we're talking about in this series is more the younger, beginner, maybe intermediate kids, because you don't really know if what their plans are 5-10 years down the road. You don't know if they're college, seeking player. You're not really sure of that yet. You'd like to maybe dream that, but you don't really want to put that in front of your kid at 8-10 years old. Come on now. But what matters is that they're learning good basic skills that if they do decide to go that road, it's already ingrained. It's already, the ethic, the listening to a coach, that kind of stuff does matter. Building a work ethic is not something that starts at 14 years old. I've learned in my experiences, if most kids haven't gotten that work ethic ingrained by the time they're about 12 or 13, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough one to crack and get in there. So that's more of what you're looking for, is not necessarily the back end of that. Oh, now he's wants to be a college player at 13, 14 years old, but you're starting to ingrain that in there with an experienced coach that really takes it, I don't say seriously, but yes, takes their job seriously in getting that kid to listen well, do listen and do direction things. That's important. And I'm not so sure that somebody who doesn't have a certification won't do that either, but why risk it? That's why I look at all the certifications when I take my car in to get it worked on. That person is looking at their job seriously, not just, I'm going to pull up YouTube. And nothing wrong with the YouTube working on your car. But I want to know that going in. When it's something serious, I got to see the certification.
And there's a time that you get what you pay for. And if
Exactly.
we're going to take this from a cost benefit point of view, when I take my car in now, I'm different than the rest of my family. I bought a Mazda, and so I take it to the dealership where I bought it. Am I paying more? Probably.
Yeah.
However, they're in charge of the Mazda. I'm not going to find the guy that's behind the gas station that says he can do it cheaper.
Right.
That is probably cheaper. I'm just rarely convinced that that's the right idea.
Right.
Unless you just have no choice. Unless it's just, I can't afford it. I get that. But in this case, it's the same thing. You can get the $25 an hour guy that may or may not be certified. He may or may not have anything going for him other than the fact that he's cheap. And he might be just as good of a coach. It's perfectly possible. But that's the question in that. And why does it matter is, are you taking a risk? And are you willing to invest in someone who is investing in their career doing this? So last question, and this is always hard. I've rarely heard a good argument for the certifications. I think USPTA doesn't do a good job of convincing people that it's important. I haven't heard anything strong from PTR. I appreciate both of those organizations. I am USPTA certified myself. And I think it matters. I think it does make a big difference. And they do a good job of continuing education and helping us learn. If I'm working with young kids, guess what I'm checking out? I'm checking out that net generation list of kids games. There are hundreds of games and there's all kinds of stuff out there. The uncertified guy just doesn't have access to that. And sometimes there's more. But is it really important? I mean, if we're going to talk about insurance next week and then getting what you pay for as well, I know we're kind of skipping ahead in some of this and we're going to sum it up a little. But certified versus uncertified, is there really a good sales pitch, Dave, that says, here's my final explanation. You should find the certified guy, or it really doesn't matter. Which one is it?
I always, if I don't want to say cost isn't prohibitive, because I think in today's world, I was talking to somebody, listening to somebody last night talking about how much groceries cost.
Oh my gosh.
Cost matters about everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think, if you want to reduce your amount of searching for a new coach down, it's helped to find one that is certified at the start, so that they're invested in what they're doing. They're going to continually learn, and you may not have to find another coach, within 6, 8, 10 months. You might stave that off until they move up to the next level. What is that? Oh, never mind. Get out of here.
And then possibly that coach can refer you to the next coach because of because of that networking you were talking about earlier.
That's right. That's exactly right. It hopefully shortens your process of looking, and to me that's just as important.
Yeah, and in that case, I'll give a shameless plug again to our coach finder, which we have at letsgotennis.com. That coach finder has everybody on there is certified, whether it's PTR or USPTA. They are certified. That means they will have some level of insurance. That means they will be they're forced to do their continuing education. They have access to the resources to, if they're working with your team, your adult team, ladies, C8 or men A2, it doesn't matter. They actually have resources, whether they can show up and just make it up like most of us actually can, if we've been doing it long enough. If not, they have a book. We have a book. We have these things offered to us, available to us. Dave, let's keep doing this one. I think this one might be one of the tougher sells, which is, again, USPTA and PTR as examples haven't done a great job of convincing the social player and the parent of young children to say, you should start with certified coaches, and here's why. When was the last time you went to a gas station to get a haircut by a guy who didn't have that diploma? Right? You got to have what's the whole thing? Like, you got to have a certification to cut your hair, but anybody can have babies. You know, whatever it is that you think people should be trained to do and have some level of professionalism in, we think tennis is one of them. Dave, I appreciate it. This is the ultimate guide to getting your kids started playing tennis. We'll see you next week. Thank you, sir.
You betcha. Have a good day.